to come for Bethany and say Bethany doesn't watch the show and she interviews, they're going to say, how does she not know Ariana's name? But go on. People come,
whatever.
People
Ariana,
come for
Adriana,
me. It's fine.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't mean any disrespect by it. It's not that I don't watch the show. I watched the reunion. I saw enough. I thought that was so awful because it was exactly how, Bethany, says that her therapist felt. It was abusive. It was wrong. And it set a precedent for other people to step in and react that way. I thought it was dangerous. And, the third thing I want to say is that I found it interesting that Raquel shared that she wants to have a new mission of talking about mental health when people are the other woman. And she said she wanted to start a podcast. Well, I'm volunteering to be her first guest because I think that I would be the epitome of somebody she should be speaking to, someone who their lives have been affected because of something that happened like her. And it was the biggest story of the decade and still continues to be anytime his name is brought up. But I'm going to use him like Voldemort. I don't want to say his name. But, I went through what she went through. I can speak on the subject. I went to rehab for love addiction and I went to the Meadows like she did. So I have all those experiences. So if anyone listening knows Raquel, knows how to get in touch with her, I think they should suggest that Rachel Yucatel, should be on her podcast because as a elder stateswoman in this arena of things going on, of cheating and all that, I can speak on the subject of how you get out of it and what it's like 14 years later.
You're the slightly older version of her. No, I agree in the sense that, listen, I understand it all. Now, I have to say, like, not to upset you, don't go see them, but like in the YouTube comments of you having been on my show, yeah, this isn't a joke because most of the comments are about how great you are. Some people, we have a lot of young kids that listen to this, believe it or not. Once I said there's no 20-somethings, they slipped in the DMs, thousands of 20-somethings. There are people that said, who is this lady? I don't know, but I really like her and David's chemistry. So there are a whole new generation, Rachel's getting to know you as David's, co-host.
I'm glad that they don't know me and I get to start over with a fresh leaf because the people that do know my name, I have to turn their opinion of me one person at a time to show them that I'm different than what they read about.
Well, that's why I was so shocked because I didn't expect it. Now, people have issues with all my co-hosts, so I ain't scaring people. This is Rachel's here to stay, but unless she decides to quit and have a mental breakdown, and then you're just going to be left with me. But it says, a lot of people said, do you know what she did? I have so much wrong with that statement, but like, yeah, this is in the comments on YouTube. People are still referring to this. I'm like, oh my God. So I was shocked when I saw that. Like, I don't even think about that. Maybe because I know you or because it was 40 years ago.
I want to address that because I find that interesting that people still talk about what happened. Like I threw someone down the stairs, slit their wrist, and I should have been in jail. Do you know what I did? I'm sorry. What did I do? And why do you have such hatred towards me? You don't even know me. You don't even know the situation. You don't know the facts. And by the way, it was 14 years ago. You're the only one still festering it. And to not like someone because of a mistake someone made 15 years ago, that's crazy. It's just crazy at this point, And the other thing that struck me, and then I'll stop talking, is she was very remorseful and she took a lot of it on her own shoulders.
Raquel?
Yes, I didn't feel, she was saying like, I didn't feel good enough. I felt like shit. I felt like I deserved it. Okay. I also think that was crazy. I mean, listen, I get she made a mistake. I get she hurt someone, but they were on a reality show. Also, let's not forget that. My situation was worse because it was being hidden. It was a real thing, right? Hers was for 7 months with, somebody who was in the friend group. That was different. I was not part of a friend group, but I don't think that it is something for her to have weighed that heavily on her shoulders. That to me was really scary that it got that dark for her and that she feels like she's worthless. That's awful. That is awful. And it's scary and it's shocking. And I just feel very empathetic for her. And I think that I wish that people would let her start over. If they're letting 2 other people get paid for their roles in this, she should deserve a second chance.
I said from day one, I mean, if you go back and listen to my podcast from day one, I said 3 things. 1, I don't understand the outrage towards her. Two, I said the world will start to turn on Ariana eventually, which they
Yeah,
and
for
I
sure.
don't wish that upon it. I mean, this is just human nature. When you hear these grumblings that the cast is fighting and turning on her, and I mean, she's been given so much, and I'm not. I mean, it's enough already. And three, I said there will be a day where there are sympathetic ears towards Raquel, and I do think that that's happening. I definitely now want to get into the Bethany of it all in a second, but I agree. And by the way, because now someone's going to make a comment, well, Rachel's wrong because she was paid. I don't know, no disrespect to the queen, Lisa Vanderpump. I mean, there's no way. No, there's a 0% chance. You know how you know what you know, Rachel? Well, let me tell you what I know. There is a 0% chance that Raquel Leviss got paid $350 or $60,000 last season on Vanderpump Rules. Ariana's not even paid that. This isn't Housewives. And if you are a housewife, that's like your third to fourth year salary. So I don't know what the fuck LVP is talking about. That was not Raquel Leviss's salary under any circumstances. Sorry.
Well, why hasn't Raquel or Bethany come out and said that's not true? That like someone needs to, you know, if Lisa
Bethany has in one of her video TikTok rants, she's like, if you believe this, she has, like, I mean, it's not gone anywhere. It's on one of her rants on TikTok, but she said that where's this number coming from? There's 0% chance. She's right.
It's just awful to me that people believe this stuff. And even if it's true, let's say she made that. I mean, it's not her fault. It's Bethany is the one that made that blanket statement. You weren't paid enough for this kind of scarlet letter to be on your head, essentially, is what she was saying. And she was saying, you make less than my interns. That was Bethany's statement. That wasn't Raquel's. Raquel seemed shocked by that. She said, really? Oh, okay. And then they moved on. I would have rather her say, how much did you get paid?
There's a lot of missed opportunities.
Either way, what are we getting at by that sentence? Was it enough? Were you paid enough to wear the scarlet letter for the rest of your life? Were you paid enough to be shamed and tortured this whole season by the way that the world turned on you as the ultimate villain? What is that number? What is enough? So some people might think 351,000 is little. I think it's way too little. And some people may say, well, she got paid, so she could suck it up. Let me tell you something, $351,000 after taxes especially is not enough. It's absolutely not enough. And I, like, hypothetically, I was paid. You should look at my New York Times article that came out 2 years ago talking about this exact issue with me. No amount of money is enough to lose your dignity. None.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
How much are you worth?
I mean, well, what is my dignity? I mean, if like this were happening